You know the story. Every winter, a thick, hazardous smog rolls in and chokes parts of India. It feels like a crisis that just keeps coming back, year after year. But what if there's already a blueprint for how to fix it? Today, we're going to look at what India can learn from China, a country that stared down its own airpocalypse and actually fought back.
So that brings us to the big question, right? Can India just take China's playbook and win its own war on pollution? It's a really tempting idea, especially when you realize just how similar their situations were not too long ago.
And it's not just a feeling. A 2023 study basically said, yep, India today is standing exactly where China was over a decade ago. The pollution in both places was fueled by the exact same thing, super fast development. So if the problems look so alike, how in the world did China manage to turn things around?
Let's be clear, China didn't just sorta address its pollution problem. It declared an all-out war. This wasn't some slow 5-year plan. No, this was a massive, decisive campaign that was pushed from the very, very top.
So what lit the fire? Believe it or not, it was the 2008 Beijing Olympics. The entire world was about to show up on their doorstep, and the city's smog was, well, it was a huge international embarrassment. That pressure, from both inside and outside the country, forced the government to get aggressive. It was the turning point.
China's strategy was basically a four-punch combo. First, they made it personal for government officials. Suddenly, your career promotion didn't just depend on economic growth. You had to hit your green targets too. Second, they were absolutely ruthless about shutting down old polluting factories. Just gone. Third, they went all in on electric vehicles. I mean, the city of Shenzhen electrified its entire bus fleet. And finally, they swapped out dirty coal heating for much cleaner options in the big cities.
And the results? They were absolutely staggering. Just look at this chart. That is a massive drop in dangerous PM 2.5 pollution between 2013 and 2022. The data doesn't lie. China's aggressive, top-down approach had a huge, measurable impact.
But, okay, it wasn't a perfect fairy tale. That intense pressure to perform led some local officials to just fake their data to make the numbers look good. And more recently, because of energy security worries, China has actually started turning back to coal. So the success was real for sure, but it definitely came with some serious trade-offs.
So if China pulled it off, why can't India just, copy their homework? Well, this is where things get really complicated. Because even though the problem looks the same on the surface, the two countries are just fundamentally different. This really gets to the heart of it. China has a unitary, top-down system. When the central government says jump, everyone asks how high. India, on the other hand, is a quasi-federal democracy. Power is split between the central government and the states, which creates all these layers and jurisdictional overlaps. You just can't order a factory to shut down tomorrow in the same way. And then you have the challenges on the ground that are uniquely Indian. We're talking about millions of older, privately owned vehicles that are still on the road. In rural areas, people rely heavily on burning biomass for cooking fuel. And while the government has schemes to help, making clean fuel truly affordable and accessible is a massive challenge. Plus, unlike China's state-owned giants, a lot of India's private companies just don't have the money to switch to greener technology. Okay, so a simple copy-paste job is not going to work. But that doesn't mean we should just throw the whole blueprint away. The real key here is to adapt the principles behind China's success, not just try to copy the exact policies.
So what are those real, adaptable lessons for India? Well, there are 3 big ones. First, enforcement has to get a lot stronger. National standards need to be directly linked to what's coming out of individual factory smokestacks. Second, monitoring needs a serious upgrade. You need a rock-solid, real-time tracking system, because you can't fix what you can't see. And finally, and this is huge, make clean fuel genuinely accessible and affordable for everyone, especially in rural India.
At the end of the day, China's story proves one thing beyond a doubt. Rapid, dramatic improvement is absolutely possible when cleaning the air becomes a true national priority. The core ideas, strong enforcement, good monitoring, and a clean energy transition are all there. The question for India isn't really about how to get cleaner air. It's whether the collective will is there to actually build it.